Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 11th February 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. U.S. President's sharp focus on minority whites in South Africa being widely observed. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump's offer to rehouse white South Africans as refugees fleeing persecution may not spur quite the rush he anticipated.
An executive order he signed on Friday provided for resettlement in the U.S. of, quote, Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination as refugees. Afrikaners are mostly white South African descendants of Dutch and French settlers, some tracing back their roots in the country to the 17th century. But it's not clear they want to flee the place they've called home for hundreds of years.
Why would you want to go? There hasn't been any really bad taking over of land. The people are carrying on like normal. And, what are you going to do over there?
That was the response from Neville van der Merwe, a white 78-year-old pensioner living in Cape Town. And he had this to say about Trump cutting off aid to his country.
We all know how Mr. Trump behaves, so... Why should they do that? It is being spiteful.
Trump is pushing back against a law signed last month by President Cyril Ramaphosa, aimed at addressing the country's unequal land ownership. White South Africans make up less than a tenth of the country's population, but a legacy of the racist apartheid government left 3/4 of privately owned land in the hands of the white minority, after 3.5 million black people were forced from their homes. The new law makes it easier for the state to expropriate land for what it says is the public interest.
And we will not be bullied.
Ramaphosa's governing African National Congress, or ANC, has defended the measure and accused Trump of amplifying misinformation propagated by AfriForum, an Afrikaner-led group. And even that group, which lobbied Trump's previous administration on their cause, said it was not taking up his offer.
We have to state categorically, we don't want to move elsewhere.
That's AfriForum CEO Callie Creel speaking on Saturday. Alongside Creel was Philip Buys, who chairs the Solidarity Trade Union, a group that says it represents 600,000 Afrikaner families.
We may disagree with the ANC, but we love the country. As in any community, there are individuals who wish to immigrate, but the repatriation of Afrikaners as refugees is not a solution for us. We want to build a future in South Africa.
Some said they appreciated Trump's gesture. Werner van Niekerk is a carpenter in Bothasig.
I think it's a very nice gesture from Donald Trump to offer us asylum over there.
He did not say whether he planned to take up the offer.
In other news, cars are being stolen in the Bahamas of late. Details in this ZNS News report.
Continuing a disturbing trend, police reported 2 cars, a silver 2017 Nissan Note and a gray 2013 Nissan Note were stolen overnight here in the capital. It comes as police reveal a 53% increase in stolen vehicles over the last year. Now, according to Commissioner of Police Shanton Knowles, the number of stolen vehicles reported in 2024 increased from 257 in 2023 to 315. Meantime, 2 cars reported stolen last week were recovered by officers this weekend. Commissioner Knowles says just last year alone, the police force had a 50% recovery rate.
There were 392 stolen vehicles, and the Nissan-made vehicles were the most targeted, representing 36% of all vehicles stolen. The Nissan Note and March were the predominant models stolen, while residents were most targeted locations. 50% of all stolen vehicles in 2024 were recovered.
Meanwhile, ZNS tells us of a 5% VAT slash on all food items from April 1st this year.
Now shifting gears to financial news, operations manager at the Department of Inland Revenue, Dexter Fernandez, is tonight allaying fears of retailers surrounding the government's proposed VAT cut on food items. Earlier this year, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis announced a 5% slash to VAT on all food items from food stores, except those items from the deli, to aid Bahamians as the cost of living continues to climb. The change is set to take effect on April 1. Now, Fernandez says grocers will be given sufficient time to change over their point of sale systems, noting that information is readily available on the Department of Inland Revenue's website, and he says the team is also willing to assist in person. He also added that the final word on the transition will be released following government's mid-year budget.
It will be similar to the other transitional guides where we moved from 12 to 10 and 10 from 7.5, etc. It's the same document inside there. How do you point your inventory before the new rate comes in? You would have seen that also every year, the same individuals that will take part of this new VAT rate is the same individuals who would have taken part in the back to school initiatives. So they're used to their point of sale system adjusting to multiple rates. And so we are just waiting for the deliberations with the mid-year budget. Once that is tabled, we'll be able to execute the necessary documents.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Gun seizures ramped up in St. Elizabeth police operations in Jamaica. More in the CVM News item.
The St. Elizabeth Police have reported major breakthroughs in the fight against crime, with a recovery of illegal firearms amidst intensified police operations in the parish. Commanding officer for the division is Superintendent Coolidge Minto.
As recent as yesterday, sir, we recovered an illegal 9mm pistol in the party area. 2 Haitians were also detained and arrested for illegal entry. The day before, also seized another illegal firearm. One man, unfortunately, was fatally shot. This is the third firearm that we seized in the past 2 weeks. So we continue our operational push across the parish to ensure that St. Elizabeth and the residents of St. Elizabeth will feel a sense of safety and they can continue their normal business, being a place where they can raise their children, do business, and feel a sense of safety.
The Prime Minister endorses the work being done by the police division. He acknowledges the parish has been peaceful and says it should not be disrupted by gangs which have been creeping into the daily lives of citizens.
We do take note that there was a gang that apparently was trying to take root, but I know that the police force has stepped up their efforts in ensuring that that gang is totally eroded and soon to be eradicated.
But the gang has been impacted in a very significant way, sir. At least 2 of the members who were fatally shot in the last 2 weeks are aligned to that particular gang. And there's no secret, it's a speculation gang.
Yes.
We have been...
But I don't give them names, right, because they're not important. We don't elevate them in the minds of the public. We don't want them to become superstars and heroes. And no, they are criminals.
And citizens are being encouraged to work closely with the police, as this is a major way the peace can be maintained.
You give information, and believe me, that is the highest thing you could do as a citizen, to give information on the criminals, to separate them from yourselves, to push them out, because ultimately they are not there to protect you, they are there to harm you. So I'm very pleased with the report that I've received here. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I firmly believe that this area can be the most peaceful area in Jamaica.
Over now to Antigua. Pollster Peter Wickham says several policies of the Trump administration will impact political dynamics in Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the region. Wickham was a guest on Wednesday's Antigua and Barbuda. Ursel Charles Jr. of ABS News reports.
Tariffs, deportations, Federal government layoffs, among others, are now part of the daily vocabulary of a new Donald Trump administration in the United States. As recently espoused by Prime Minister Gaston Brown, Antigua Barbuda has a $200 million trade deficit with the U.S., and its new policies are sure to affect this local economy. But many of the policies remnant from a Trump campaign and presidency may also have an effect on politics and elections. Increased tariffs from China, Mexico, and Canada are sure to raise inflationary pressures on goods imported into this country. If prices do go up, political pollster and analyst Peter Wickham warns this electorate will not be forgiving.
My experience, both regionally and internationally, is that voters could care less. Voters are very unforgiving where inflation is concerned. You send up the price of a product, people will react negatively to it. And essentially what has been happening post-COVID is demonstrating that. So we have been having widespread increases across the board in all of the Caribbean islands where prices of everything has been going up. However, whenever elections are being fought, people are very unforgiving and very angry.
And then a 2024 report from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, reveals that some 110 Antiguans and Barbudans have been given final orders for removal, meaning they could be deported back to this country at any time. Wickham believes this, however, will have no real impact on the local political scene.
The level of impact that you can get from 100 returning nationals is not going to be particularly significant. So I think psychologically we are more concerned about it, but I think in a real way, these migrants are not going to have a huge impact.
As it relates, though, to running for political office and subsequent campaigning, Wickham believes there is a lesson for politicians new and old to learn from the successful Trump run to the White House.
I think it is a masterclass in the elevation of self over country and the extent to which you can co-opt the resources of wealthy people in pursuit of an objective that will make them wealthier and supported by people who will suffer most as a result. So that's the class for me. There's nothing beneficial or altruistic in relation to development that I'm seeing in all of this.
For ABS News, I am Ursula Charles Jr.
And now for the lighter side. Grenada is affectionately known as Greens by those who call the island home. Some say it's a shortened version of Grenada, but others say it describes the island's lush greenery, a testament to its rich volcanic soil. This volcanic soil is perfect for growing cocoa, a practice that dates back to the 17th century on the island. CNC3's producer, Brent Pinero, visited the Belmont estate for an authentic tree-to-bar experience. Here is more in this week's CNC3 Travel.
Say hello to Rainbow, a slightly delusional Amazon parrot that thinks she's a Trinbagonian. Rainbow lives here at the Belmont Estate, a 17th century plantation in Grenada that began growing cocoa under the French in the 1700s. Cocoa is still grown here alongside a wide variety of fruit trees also cultivated on the fertile volcanic land. And as our group would soon learn, not everything is eaten straight off the tree. Some are used for spicing and some for drinking.
This bergamot, together with bay leaf, cinnamon, in the cocoa nibs, ground them all up together, make the cocoa ball, and drop the ball in the water. 20 minutes, filter, add your milk, cocoa tea.
What, no nutmeg?
No nutmeg, no.
Well, that's a surprise, but you know what? It tasted delicious. For centuries, the estate farmed and processed cocoa, at one point even exporting its dried beans to Europe. Now, maybe 2025, but the methods of harvesting haven't changed that much.
Bamboo, 15 feet long with a knife to the end of it. We're gonna get out 7 to 9, pick yellow pods. 9 to 10, collect. 10 to 12 noon, sit, crack them all open, remove the beans by hand, put the beans in the bags. Pods, leave them on the floor. Fertilizer. When the beans are transported here, they will be surrounded by a wide, gooey, fleshy pulp. We're gonna sort through them. The beans without the pulp, we're throwing that away. Because without the pulp, the bean will not ferment, it will germinate. Those with the pulp, we record the weight. You get paid by the amount you pick. And the beans, we put them in the fermentation or sweat box.
Once in the sweat box, they stay there for 6 days to ferment, and every 2 days, they are manually turned. From there, they are taken to the 18th century drying house. Originally installed for drying coffee, these massive trays are now used to dry cocoa in the Caribbean sun, and the beans must be turned every 30 minutes to prevent them from developing mold. Now, you can make the job of turning the beans fun by chipping and dancing, or you can hit them the old razzle-dazzle. Wait, let me flip it and reverse it. Okay, so I may have crushed a bean or two in the process, but I understood the assignment, and for that, I deserve a treat. And the chocolate factory is where the treats are found. In here, the beans are processed into all manner of chocolate products, which means there's just one thing left to do.
I'm gonna take one of each. The people who have been nice to me will get gifts.
Did you get one? Brent Pinero, CNC3 News, Grenada.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.